So far this year, I have used up almost 100 products that amount to around $4,500. If you've been around for a while, you will know I always track my empties, and I feel like it's a really good way to learn about your consumption habits, the things that get the most wear and tear in your routines, and what you actually spend your money on that you use. For me, it's always taught me a lot about myself and where it's worth it to spend money and try to save money in my routines. So I do have a ton of products here to review, but before that, I kind of want to talk about a few things that my empties have taught me this year, both about the products themselves, but also about my own practices and how I like to use product. If you're new here, then hi, my name is Becca. I'm obviously obsessed with all things beauty, and that's why I like to get into the granular details of my consumption habits, of products themselves, and also about trends in the beauty industry. So lesson number one is that actives are where I think it's worth the investment in your skincare routine. You might have a basic cleanser, a basic moisturizer, these kinds of things that you cycle through really regularly that are maybe more barrier supportive. But when it comes to where it's worth spending a little bit more, actives are where it's at. For me, that means retinoids. I have 2 retinals here, or things like azelaic acid or exfoliating acids. And this also includes pigmentation treatments like the Mother Science Molecular Hero Serum, which you guys know I talk about all of the time. So these are actually probably 2 of my all-time favorite retinoids. This is the Medicate Crystal Retinol 6, and this is the Saatchi Skin Ursolic Acid and Retinol Overnight Reform. So retinol with an A is going to be a little bit more potent than retinol with an O. However, I believe these both use encapsulated retinoids, which means they're a little bit less irritating on the skin. And while these are both high-end products, I think both the performance and the packaging justify that luxury price point. So the Medicate, the retinol, this is their crystal retinol line. It comes in many different potencies. So you get 1 all the way to 20. This is a crystal retinol 6, so it's somewhere in the middle. And one thing I love is that it has a pump, but also that this pump and tube packaging gets out every dot of product. And I really see such a difference when I'm using this on my skin. I see so much brightness and just clarity and an evenness of tone. It helps with well aging, of course. I'm not using retinoids at the moment because I am pregnant, but this is something that I do reach for all the time when I can use them. And when I did have to stop using retinoids, it was a real tragedy, and I can tell a difference with my skin. Can't wait to have retinoids back in my life. The Saatchi Skin Ursolic Acid and Retinol. This is beautiful because if you're not familiar with Saatchi Skin, they basically use a lot of South Asian ingredients and incorporate that with the more sciencey sort of ingredients that we know in Western beauty. And so this has bakuchiol, glutathione, organic black cumin, and holy basil. It's a beautifully formulated product. It's a lovely serum. It has this kind of like pump top cap that gets you every drop of product out of the tube. Again, I notice such a difference when I'm using one of these in my routines. I feel similarly about these 2 products, which together lead to brightness and even skin, and they bring down redness for me as well as pigmentation. So this is the Dr. Sam's Brightly Serum. This is my azelaic serum. And azelaic really helps if you have sensitive skin to bring down redness. It can help with rosacea. I just notice a more even, bright skin tone when I use this. And then the Mother Science Molecular Hero Serum is also great for pigmentation, especially PIE, PIH, like post-breakout spots that I tend to get along the jawline. I really notice when I'm using this versus when I'm not, and that's true with both of these. You can use the Brightly Serum in the morning or this at night or vice versa. I just kind of reach for it depending on the day. But I do use both of them regularly. And again, while these are high-end products, I really see a difference in my skin. And for me, that's where it's worth the investment. Oh, and I actually just realized I emptied 2 of these this year. Actually, I think Sean emptied 1 and I emptied 1 because we do have both of our empties in my bin. This leads me to lesson number 2 of my product empties, which is that luxury products are not necessarily better. I don't feel like the price tag always reflects higher performance or better results necessarily. Sometimes they can, but it's not always proportionate to the price tag. When it comes to luxury, you're paying for things like user experience, like packaging. However, there are so many great affordable brands on the market these days that do really rival higher end products. So for example, Prequel Skin Multi-Quench is one of my favorite serums. It's a beautiful hydrating serum that really sticks sticks around on the skin. I've actually emptied this like 3 or 4 times. I can't get any out. It's not like a watery hyaluronic acid serum. It has a little bit of a plush gel texture, and that's what I feel like helps with deep hydration throughout the day. I think this is around the $25 mark. Another hydrating serum that I love is the Summer Fridays. This is now called the Jet Lag serum. This is their older version, the Dream Oasis serum. And this is another hydrating serum that has like a lightweight cream consistency. So this one isn't actually as fluid. It almost feels like a gel moisturizer. And they're both beautiful products, but to me, they're kind of interchangeable in my routine. They're products that I can slot in and out of the same serum step in my skincare routine. While I love both of these a lot, I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, you have to reach for the more expensive one over the prequel serum. Lesson number 3 is that if you are going to increase the price point of your purchases in something like a hydrating serum, there are also other ingredients and bells and whistles that you want to look out for. So these are 2 of the most expensive serums and maybe 2 of the most expensive items that I've emptied this year. This is the Allies of Skin Multipeptides and GF Advanced Lifting Serum, GF meaning growth factors. And this is the EXO H serum. And these both have sort of fancy ingredients that are really going to help your skin renewal over time. Not in a way that actives work, like they work differently than retinoids, but things like peptides, things like growth factors, things like exosomes, that's what you get in that next level up in terms of skincare and just the innovation and technology that we're seeing. While all of these ingredients function differently, and even peptides are a category that includes many different kinds of peptides that do different things, they're all going to kind of work to regenerate your skin at a cellular level to help your skin renew itself. Same with growth factors and exosomes. And so those are the things that you're going to see a return on, not in the short term, but in a long term. That's what you want to look for when you're going into that next luxury price point. Again, it's hard to say like one serum is going to change your skin, and I would never promise that actually. I don't think that's a responsible thing to promise, but these are things that with long-term use are going to help with well aging over time. And then the last thing I've learned is that peptides are dominating my skincare routines. I think especially right now because I'm pregnant, I'm not using retinoids. I am really trying to supplement with things like peptides, growth factors, exosomes, things that are going to help my skin regenerate itself. And I just have so many products with peptides. That's partly because it's been an industry trend, but also because I really like them. So I have things like the Lion Pose Pep Talk Cream, which is a peptide-based moisturizer, really beautiful. On the more affordable end, the Naturium Multi-Peptide Moisturizer, which is a beautiful moisturizer, has lots of different strains of peptides. And then things like the Skin Fix Triple Lipid Peptide Cream, Barrier Plus Moisture Rich Hydrator. And then the Allies of Skin Peptides and Omega Eye Cream, just peptides everywhere. And I think that's kind of one of the shifts we're seeing where well aging is not just about retinoids like they were for a very, very long time. It was all about retinol. And while that is true, there are also these ingredients that are becoming very popular and accessible now, like peptides that do help with the well aging process. Another skincare lesson that I have learned is that my K-Beauty SPFs are going to dominate Western SPFs every time. And while I do have empties of both, I have so many more empties of Korean sunscreens. And what that tells me is that I'm going to be consistent with products that I like to use, that feel cosmetically elegant to use, especially when it comes to sun protection. I have 3 here: Goodall Heartleaf Calming Sun Cream, the Skin 1004 Tea Trika one, which I love. I think this is my favorite, and the Anua Heartleaf Sun Cream. All 3 of these are beautiful, gorgeous, stunning, would use them interchangeably, look great under makeup, don't even feel like SPF. I do have a body empty of the Sun Bum Daily Body Sunscreen Lotion, and this is great for like pool days. If you're at the beach, it's water resistant up to 80 minutes, and it's in a big bottle that you can use with a pump, so you can use it generously. And when it comes to body SPFs, I don't mind using something a little bit cheaper, something that comes in a big bottle like this, so that you're encouraged to use it generously. But when it comes to the face, K-Beauty SPFs remain superior. It's not that I don't test American SPFs, because I do. I like to review them and have recommendations that are more accessible for you guys, but these are just dominant. I don't know what to tell you. So that being said, let's get into the Empties reviews. I'm gonna go broadly by category. I have skincare, I have some makeup, and then body and hair care. I won't be reviewing every single product of the 100 products I've emptied. I don't think I've even been able to save all of that, but I do have a ton here. So buckle in and let's get into the reviews. Let's start with cleansers. These are going to be speed reviews because there's just so much stuff here. The Prequel cleanser is called the cleanser because it's a glycerin cleanser. It's a 50% glycerin formula. So it's very hydrating. It's a gel cleanser. It's great for sensitive skin, great for dry skin, especially if you feel like other cleansers can strip or dry out your skin. This is a great option for you. Prequel in general is amazing for people with sensitive skin. I also have the Prequel oil cleanser, which is called the Pre-Cleanse Cleansing Oil. This is a fantastic drugstore oil cleanser. It breaks down makeup like nothing and it takes no effort at all, including waterproof mascara. It rinses clean. It doesn't leave any sort of weird film behind. Unscented, great for sensitive skin, and these two actually pair so nicely together. And I have backups waiting to be opened because I have emptied these and I just love them so much. I have two Jordan Samuel skin cleansers. If you guys don't know Jordan Samuel Skin, it's an indie brand founded by Jordan Samuel. I really love their cleansers. These are their two options. Well, there's actually three, but these are two of the matinee options. So there's a cream cleanser and then a gel cleanser. You've probably heard me talk about these before. The cream cleanser is really lovely. It has a creamy consistency, but it's actually not overly emollient and it's not too like lotiony. There's silt in here, which gives it a little bit of a different, like a unique texture that makes you feel like you're getting a thorough cleanse. Sometimes cream cleansers can leave a residue behind, which I don't love. This one doesn't do that. And the matinee gel cleanser is just great if you need a really thorough cleanse that's not going to strip your skin, but it is going to feel like you're getting everything off. I always use this in the summer just to get off that extra sweat and just leave a really refreshed feeling on the skin. Then the Experiment Plasma Moisture Depositing Gel Cream Cleanser. This is at Sephora now, by the way, and will be included in the Sephora sale. I'll include this in my recommendations along with some other things from Experiment, which I just love. But this is such a nice hybrid gel cream cleanser. So you get that jelly consistency, but you get the hydration that you would from a cream cleanser without the lotiony feel. And I feel like it's actually perfect for fall, winter. If you're in cooler seasons or if you have dry skin and you're looking for a thorough cleanse, something that's not going to strip your skin, I would say it's maybe even a little bit more moisturizing than the cleanser, but it's something that I really, really enjoyed and I use this in the shower. I do wash my face in the shower sometimes, and because this actually leaves a little bit of hydration behind, it's nice for when you are in a hot shower. Not what I advise, but it is what I do. Going into toners and essences, this is where it's almost always a K-beauty product and almost always something that's going to be focused on calming and just replenishing hydration in the skin. It's what I use right after cleansing. So this is the Mixsoon Centella Asiatica toner. This one is super, super watery. Honestly is the consistency of water, but that Centella, it just helps with calming. And as someone with sensitive skin, I like that step after cleansing just because I feel like the manual work of actually physically cleansing your skin can sometimes irritate the skin. So having a nice soothing toner is really nice. Same with this. This is the Anua Heartleaf toner, a cult classic. You can see there's a little bit left in there, just how watery it is. Also beautiful. This one is a little bit different because this is the Beauty of Chosun Glow Replenishing Rice Milk. And because it's rice based, it actually has that milky like rice water sort of look. And Beauty of Chosun is also going to be in the Sephora sale for the first time. They just started carrying them. And this one's also lovely because rice milk is known for evening out the skin tone and bringing some brightness to the skin. Really, really love all of those, but honestly, I use them interchangeably. I have a couple of milky essences, which I use after the toner. These are both really lovely, really beautiful. They're kind of modeled after K-beauty essences, if I'm honest. This is the Prequel Half and Half, and it's a milky essence. They actually call it their fluid moisturizer, and if you have oily skin, you certainly could use it as that. I like to use it as a moisturizing step with a moisturizer, but especially in the summer, or if you have oily skin, this might just be enough hydration for you. It's milky, it has ceramides, which I love. It's great for sensitive skin. I've emptied this more than once. And this is the Ilia Base Face Milk. This one's a little bit richer than the prequel one, but also really beautiful, kind of similar in that you can use it as a lightweight moisturizer. Looks beautiful under makeup, or you can layer it under a cream if you want more layers and more hydration. But they're both really, really stunning and sensitive skin friendly. My hypochlorous acids, can't live without these, the Tower 28 one, as well as the Skin Smart one. The Skin Smart one is a little bit more affordable, but I use hypochlorous acid almost every day because I have a really sensitive neck and décolleté. Same with my back. Sometimes if you're like eczema prone or dermatitis prone, this may help you. When I don't have these in my routine, I can really tell. Moving on to serums, I just mentioned these two hydrating serums, so I won't repeat myself. This is the prequel and the Summer Fridays ones, which I mentioned in the intro. I have more products with peptides in them. This is the Medicate liquid peptides, and this has a 30% complex hydrating peptide serum. I don't know if you can see what's left in the bottom of this, but this is a little bit of a thicker gel. It's like a plush gel serum. I really love this because it's hydrating on its own, but it also delivers lots of different peptides to the skin. I'm actually currently using their new peptide serum, which I like even better. It almost has the consistency of the Summer Fridays Jet Lag serum with a lot of different peptides. I couldn't tell you which ones, but I am really enjoying that one. I'll put a picture of it here, but I am really enjoying that one and loving it. Another high-end but gorgeous serum that I really love is the SkinCeuticals P-Teox. Looks like this, and this is a newer release from SkinCeuticals. It is called a wrinkle modulating peptide serum, and it's supposed to improve the look of contraction lines, texture, and radiance. And basically it's a hydrating serum that includes different peptides along with PHA, which is very, very lightly exfoliating. Nothing like the other hydroxy acid, so it's not like BHA, it's not like AHA. I think this also has niacinamide, so it kind of works together in this really beautiful balanced way. It's a very fluid serum, but it does give radiance to the skin. My skin just looked and felt smoother. Plus it has the long-term benefits of something like the peptides, and I really enjoyed it. In fact, I actually repurchased it myself because I like it so much, which is saying a lot because the serum is like $150. So it was a very measured purchase, but it's something that I'm excited to have in my routines again. These two are also a kind of an interesting case study as to hydrating serums at Sephora. This is the In Beauty Project Elastic Skin Serum, which I absolutely love and I think is so impressive. So it's modeled after snail mucin serum. So it has that like gel quality, but it's not as sticky as like the COSRX snail mucin. And it doesn't even really feel like necessarily a dupe. So I felt like that was a little bit unnecessary in their marketing, but it is a really rich gel serum. And this is impressive because it has copper peptides, vegan growth factors, and phytomucin, which is not common to see all together at this price point. I'm not saying this is necessarily an affordable product, but there's a lot packed in here at this price point. The Shani Darden Moisture Boost Plumping Serum, on the other hand, is really beautiful. It is a hydrating serum, stunning under the skin. I mean, it looks beautiful under makeup. It's a gel hydrating consistency. So it looks like this. It's just kind of like a gel hydrating serum. And my skin does drink this up. However, it is at a higher price point and it doesn't contain as many of the bells and whistles as the In Beauty Project Elastic Skin does. So it's again one of those things where it's like if you're going to go for a certain price point, maybe you want to look for things like copper peptides and like growth factors. I'm not saying this is bad by any means. I actually really love it. And it does have things like antioxidants and some botanical ingredients that make it feel a little bit elevated. But when it comes to function, purely function, I do think the Elastic Skin is really, really impressive for its price point. My brightening serums, I did already mention, so I won't review these more. What I will say is that this is not the first time I've emptied these. I think I've emptied this about 3 or 4 times, the Dr. Sam's Brightly Serum, and I've emptied the mother science probably like 5 times. So that says a lot as someone who tries a lot of different products. My consumption habits are not that of a normal person, and I fully recognize that as someone who receives PR and has a lot of access to different things. It's one of the privileges of what I do. So it actually means even more when I go back to a product or when I repurchase a product like the SkinCeuticals PTOX, because it means that it's really something that's risen above the others for me. And these two are just two that I keep coming back to and I really love because I see the results. These, my most expensive serums, are really beautiful and I did really enjoy them. For me, even they're at like, I don't know if I could justify the price point for myself, but I am impressed by the ingredients. I think the Allies of Skin multi-peptide serum is like $150, $180, but it does have those growth factors. It does also have, I think, copper peptides. It has a really complex ingredients list. The XOH serum that has hyaluronic acid and exosomes, I think this is past the budget, even for me as a beauty enthusiast. I'm pretty sure this is like $250. Enjoyed it. Loved it, used it up. However, I could not personally stomach purchasing this with my own money. I will also say part of the reason why I've gone through so many hydrating serums this year is because I'm really focused. I'm about to turn 35 in like 10 days. And I'm really focused on bringing my skincare down my neck and chest, especially as I'm looking at my mid-30s. I'm looking at my 40s coming up. I really want to think about well aging. I've always been good about moisturizing. I always moisturize, but I haven't always been good about including my neck as part of my regular skincare routine with all of these great ingredients and just being more proactive about well aging. So that's part of the reason why you see so many peptides, growth factors, things like that in my serums and why I've gone through so many. My neck can't tolerate actives because I am so sensitive. So that's where I really look to those other ingredients to kind of boost my skin health overall, especially on my neck and chest. Actives, we've talked about my retinoids. Oh no, that's not it. This is it. The Medicate retinoids, the Saatchi Skin retinol, love these. And then let's move on to moisturizers. I have a lot of richer creams that I'm reaching for, and I think part of it is that I'm almost 35. I've always had oily skin, but I'm definitely noticing that my skin is veering more combo. And at night, there are times where I do feel dry, I do feel tightness, and that's kind of a new feeling for me. And so I do find myself reaching for a little bit more of an occlusive, sort of a barrier restorative cream. At the drugstore, the Naturium Multi-Peptide Rich Cream is absolutely stunning. If you're looking for a night cream, I mean, you can see I cleaned out every last bit, but it's a richer cream. It gives you that really nice barrier that feels like it locks everything in overnight, especially all of those hydrating layers that you have already added. It doesn't feel like it just absorbs and disappears. It actually feels like it's staying on, and I love the texture of it. If you like a rich texture, I think you would love the Kate Somerville Delicate cream. This has, again, totally cleared out. I actually opened another one of these. This has almost a balm consistency, whereas the Naturium one is a little bit richer and creamier. This one is a little bit stiffer, and then as you work it into the hands, I actually like take a little bit, work it into the hands, and then press it into the skin because it has that balmy quality. It's almost like the heat of your skin melts the oils and it really seals in your skincare. The Delicate line is one I always recommend for sensitive skin. And it really locks in that moisture. I feel like it brings down redness even overnight, and it's just one of my all-time favorites. And then the Skin Fix Triple Lipid Peptide Cream is one I've emptied many times. Sean's emptied many times. It's a richer consistency, but it's not as greasy feeling. It has a slight drier touch than the Delicate, for example, but it is still rich and occlusive and it will seal in your skincare. It's just kind of a matter of texture. Again, another product with peptides. Honey Halo remains Sean's all-time favorite moisturizer. He always asks for the butter moisturizer because he says it feels like butter on his skin. He thinks texturally nothing else compares. I think it's just like the first moisturizer he really fell in love with that got him to use it over and over. He loves it. He's emptied so many of these, probably like 10 of these in his life. And then the Lion Pose Pep Talk Cream. This is actually a lighter moisturizer that I really liked for daytime because I felt like it gave me deep hydration, but it wasn't too rich and it didn't get in the way of makeup or anything. It has one of these pump things. And so it lets you get out every bit of product. It's unscented. This also has a great ingredients list. It has ceramides, glutathione, ashwagandha, allantoin, oat, squalane, a lot of ingredients that are calming and good for sensitive skin. And then my tube moisturizers. So the Naturium Multipeptide Moisturizer is the lighter version of the night cream that I mentioned. And the multipeptide line is so good. I actually have the full family here. I have the eye cream, the moisturizer, and also the night cream. The only thing I'm missing is the serum, which I also love. This is great for a daytime moisturizer because it's a little bit lighter. It sinks into the skin nicely. And one I fell in love with this year is the Experiment Molecular Mesh. This is really cool because it has a looser texture, but it's still deeply hydrating, calming, soothing. It has a light blue color that comes from one of the ingredients, and they call it a stretchy emulsion for a barrier that bounces back. So I found that for a looser texture, it actually gave me a ton of barrier support. My skin did feel really bouncy when I used it. It looks great under makeup, but it's also rich enough for nighttime. I will definitely be including this in my Sephora recommendations. And then I have my eye products. I already mentioned the Naturium eye cream, which I love and is the most affordable of the options here. The Nyan Fractionated Eye Contour Concentrate, you guys know I empty this all the time. It's what I use for eye puffiness underneath a richer eye cream. And in the morning, it just makes such a big difference if you're someone that wakes up with puffy eyes. All I need is one drop. And then I have my Kate Somerville Lifting Eye Cream, another repeat empty because I do feel like it does a little bit of lifting. I don't really know how because it's not a super active eye cream, but I notice when I have this versus when I don't. And then this one was a newer one to me. This is the Allies of Skin Peptides and Omegas Firming Eye Cream. And this had peptides, omegas, bakuchiol, and vitamin C. This was a really lovely texture, beautiful eye cream. It's actually pretty rich, but not too rich to wear under makeup. I am finding I'm liking a little bit of a richer eye cream these days, much like the moisturizers. I like the complex ingredients in here. So this was something that I really did enjoy. Allies of Skin does do really good ingredients lists that tackle a multitude of problems across all of their products. And then I have all of my K-Beauty SPFs, which I've mentioned before. I've reviewed all of them, I think. They all have a light lotion feel. I think the Tea Tree one is the most fluid of all. This is my favorite of all time. I have recommended it so many times, emptied it so many times, I'm currently using it. All of these are really stunning, great for sensitive skin. They all have calming ingredients like heartleaf, like centella, and like tea tree and centella in here. So they're really good sensitive skin options. And of course, they're cosmetically elegant. They're beautiful, milky finishes that look great under makeup, which is just a prerequisite for me at this point. And the last skincare items are acne patches. These are great. These are the Easy Derm Quick Calming Patch. And I don't know if you can see right here, but these have these little pokey things, and it actually comes with a serum, a Cica serum. So you drop a dot on the pokey things and then you press it into the skin. And it's really good for hormonal spots or cystic spots or spots that are under the skin that haven't quite come up yet. It kind of helps calm it down, and sometimes it even helps prevent it from coming up altogether. So these are what I use for those pesky hormonal spots, and I feel like the little pokey things, I don't know, there's a better name for this. The pokey things help the serum penetrate the skin and help calm the skin. So I've emptied 2 of these this year, currently have one open. And then for makeup, I only emptied 4 makeup products this year. I do have a few like tinted balms, like lip balms rolling around, but I have 2 of the Clio Kill Lash. It's been a low makeup year for me because I was really sick a lot of this year. I was going through IVF and fertility treatments and just wasn't wearing a lot of makeup. And I had a terrible, terrible first trimester, which I like hardly left the bed. So I have their Sleek Volume, which is their original version, I'm pretty sure, this one. Has the curved wand, and if you've never used a Clio Kill Lash mascara and your lashes always drop a curl, you should try these. I also have their Extreme Volume version, which is actually a tubing version that I love. And I need to repurchase both of these actually. I emptied the M Cosmetics Divine Water Perfecting Mist, which I haven't seen available in a while, but it is a setting mist that I really loved. And then I emptied another YSL, it's It's completely gone. They're Candy Glaze in the shade 02, which is just kind of their clear version. I actually wear this as a lip balm. I wear it over lip liner. I wear it around the house because it's so moisturizing and rich and it really coats your lips. It's kind of a thicker formula. I also love the tinted versions of these. Like I love the shade Showcasing Nude. That one's really beautiful. I have a few different versions, but I've emptied the clear one more than once because it's such a great lip balm. And then to close out, I have hair, body, and some miscellaneous items. This is my miscellaneous item. This is the DS and Durga Big Sur After Rain candle. And I love this scent. If you ever get the chance to smell this, it smells like fresh rain. You get eucalyptus. It really does feel like you're driving through Big Sur after the rain. Like they really nailed the scent profile. However, this candle smoked so bad. I don't know if you can see the actual soot and ash on this container, but I couldn't finish it because it was starting to smoke so bad. And I feel like they need to change whatever material the wick is made of. I would trim it. I take pretty good care of my candles because they are a fire hazard and I always recommend trimming them before you light them. But even so, I got a lot of ashiness and it just felt like it was I use this in the bathroom, like when I was taking baths, and I felt like it was making my bathroom sooty and I could see like black clouds coming out of it. So I think I'm gonna throw this on my candle melter, the wax melter, to use up the rest of the scent, but it eventually got to a point where it was unburnable and I'm kind of bummed about it because it's a really beautiful candle. It's a luxury candle, but the performance was not impressive for me. Another fun miscellaneous thing is the Dead Cool hand wash in extra milk. I love all of the milk scented things from Dead Cool. It's a very clean skin scent. It has white florals, a little bit of musk. I also love the laundry detergent. I love the body lotion. I love the hand soap. And I also, of course, have the perfumes. I think this is a really great kind of like guest bathroom, elevated bathroom experience. It's obviously not a must-have, but it's just something that I really enjoy because I love the scent so much. And if you love layering the scent, this might be a nice way to layer the scent. Getting into some hair care, I think this is my favorite shampoo and conditioner of the year. This is the Rose Foundation Conditioner, Shampoo and Conditioner. This made my skin my hair so shiny, so soft, so touchable and silky, without ever being heavy. And the scent of these Rose products, just, I need this in a perfume form. It's almost like a bitter orange green kind of fragrance. It's not really sweet. You kind of get like the sharpness and the greenness of citrus oil or like a citrus rind, almost like a tangerine. And it just smells so clean and elevated and I just couldn't get enough of these. I want these back in my life. I've fallen in love with all of the Rose products this year. I'm currently using their hair serum. I'm really impressed by their formulations. I also emptied the Dr. 14 Revitalizing Scalp Care Shampoo and Conditioner. I have a little bit left on both of these. This has a really lovely like minty tea tree feel. I don't think it performs as well as the Rose ones, or I didn't get as much pleasure out of using them, but they were really nice at giving me a really thorough cleanse, at giving me moisture. I like the big bottles. These are from Lapkos, which is like a K-beauty brand, and I did really enjoy these and I liked them a lot. The Fable and Mane hair oil is actually a Sean empty. I asked, what did you think of the hair oil I gave you? And he said, I really liked it. So that's Sean's review. I have used this a couple of times, like in my ends, and it's a nice lightweight oil just to add back hydration and shine. He has really a thick head of hair and it's curly and textured, and so it takes a lot of moisture and it's on the drier side, so I feel like he actually used this up really quickly. And then I have two body washes that are almost in the same scent family. So Necessaire earlier this year came out with Olibanum, and it's kind of like a creamy vanilla sort of scent. Okay, just look this up, and Olibanum is frankincense. Did not know that. But it has that kind of like earthy, woodsy, but creamy sort of feel. I think this might be my favorite scent from them now. Loved it, always love their body washes. I do have a Necessaire discount code if you're curious to try it. And I also really love the Olibanum body lotion. Then Cyclar came out with Vanilla Verve, and this is their body wash. Love the big bottle, love a big pump, and Vanilla Verve is so good that I restocked it. It's a vanilla woods, but it has a little bit more sweetness. Like this is a little bit more musky, woodsy. This is a little bit sweeter. And there's also like a bright note. It's almost like a slight twist of citrus that lightens it and prevents it from being like a dessert gourmand. It's not sickly sweet. There's something still a little bit musky and skin-like about it. Really, really, really love this scent. And then finally, I am flying through body lotions because I am pregnant. I am working on a roundup of different like bump body butters and creams and things like that if you are curious. Kiehl's Creme de Corps is a forever favorite. This is their liter size that you can get like heavily discounted during the Nordstrom sale, the Sephora sale, things like that. Creme de Corps lotion is great because it's lightweight but rich at the same time. And I feel like it gives me that buttery moisture that I'm looking for, but it doesn't leave a sticky residue on the skin. And then I just emptied one of my all-time favorite body butters, the Josie Maran Whipped Body Butter. I love all of their body butters. I do tend to prefer the unscented versions. This is the original, which has a light scent. It's not really offensive and it doesn't linger. The reason why I love these body butters is they're actually on the looser side. They're not stiff. Like right now I'm testing the Mother body butter, which is like a stiff balm and you melt it between your hands. This one is looser, but it does have that emollients and richness and I feel like it's giving me deep moisture. And I have another one waiting to open, as well as a refill. They started doing these big refill bags, which is fantastic, a great value because these jars are glass and they are really beautiful. It's nice to be able to refill them. Okay, that was a lot. That was a monster roundup of my empties this year so far. If you have any questions, please let me know. I would love to answer any questions. I know we sped through a ton of product really quickly, so let me know in the comments. And of course, I will update you at the end of the year for my annual totals and the products that I currently am working on that I will use up by the end of the year. So thanks for being here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.